are. Yay!
Irish eyes. The wrong song?
No, I
that's
think
all
that
right.
was the one. That's where we're going with that.
I've been made when Irish hearts are happy, or they'll steal your heart away.
Now, what else? Harrigan.
H-A-I-G-A-N spells Harrigan. Proud of all the Irish blood that's in me. Divil a man can say a word agin me. Now let's go to the other holiday.
Now, what's the other? Oh. Poor.
Purim.
For Haman was his name, sir. He would have murdered all the Jews. Oh, they were not to blame, sir. Oh, today will merry, merry be.
Oh, today
Well,
will
you're supposed to
merry,
drink.
merry be.
Okay.
Happy Purim, everyone.
So we had.
Well done.
We had, yeah, well,
Both of you, bravo.
Kiera's piano, by the way.
Oh,
Yes,
it's your
yes.
piano.
Yeah, no, it isn't. It's
And,
Kiera's piano.
no.
Happy
What's today?
Happy St. Patrick's Day eventually. Today is March 9th, 2015.
Happy St. Patrick's
This
Day.
is the fun show on Big TV.
Yeah.
We'll make this out. Our maestro of the keyboard over here,
Who hammers
Michael
away
Sallen.
with 2 fingers. Yeah.
Bravo.
I'm Arch O'Riley. Still, they keep trying to find somebody, but I'm still here. And
Who would we find to replace you?
I don't know.
It's not possible.
Mayor
And I'm Kiera.
Mayor
She is
Walsh.
Kiera Miner.
Kiera Miner, and that's
Kiera
me.
Oh,
Miner.
yeah. Wait a minute. You
Okay.
still here? Oh, you
I
are.
am,
Nice
I am.
going.
Yeah.
All right.
That's our promotional piece. Really?
No gluten. Okay.
I see that
No
every once
gluten,
in a
that was a
while on
non
the thing.
sequitur.
You know, tune in at brooklineinteractive.org, you know. And,
Okay.
and,
What do we
watch us.
got? We got any? You got some stuff there?
Well, we do. Yes, we have
Yeah.
a few things.
got that one.
Yeah, we got. We got. What else we got here?
First of all, it's my simple comment that there are 47 United States senators who today took it upon themselves to commit treason against the United States of America. And if there's any right or wrong in the world,
you hissing?
they'll all
I'm
be
hissing.
sitting in
Treason.
Guantanamo Bay by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Oh. Okay.
The Republicans wouldn't let the president close Guantanamo, and it's a good thing because now they can hold their Senate caucuses there because they're all a bunch of treasonous traitors and bastards.
Oh.
Amen.
So
Tell us
that
how
out
you
of-
really feel.
So that out of the way. There's an interesting thing on another of their Ted Cruz issues, which is the issue of they're talking up illegal residents of the United States
Yeah.
in such a manner. And there's an article in here, which is interestingly from the Boston Herald, which it may surprise some of you to know that is still printed.
I was surprised.
I
was
brought it
actively
into
surprised.
him.
Today's Boston Herald, and written by a woman named Linda Chavez. And it's the very interesting thing to me, and it says, illegal entering the United States by evading the Border Patrol or crossing at an improper entry point is indeed a crime. But the crime is a misdemeanor, punishable by a $250 fine, no more than 6 months of incarceration, and that only after being found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. But about 40% of the 11 million unauthorized immigrants entered legally and simply overstayed their visa, which is not a criminal infraction at all.
Okay.
So all these Ted Cruzites and other Republicans who think that undocumented aliens should be shot on sight are once again totally ignorant of the law of our country.
But the substance of that piece is that the Republicans, this woman, Linda Chavez, who wrote the article, that's why I brought it in for you, to maybe to deal with it.
Okay.
She
Pass the
is
buck.
trying to show that the Republicans don't have any plan for the 11 or 12 million illegals.
They don't have any plan for anything.
Yeah, I know, but
they
when
really
the
have to at
president
this
went
point?
ahead with using executive action, they got their noses out of joint and
Right.
everything.
I mean, the other thing that's now sort of before the Supreme Court is the Obamacare subsidies in the states that didn't set up their things.
4 words.
And
Which states?
there's a whole bunch of them. There's like 32 red states that refused to set up insurance exchanges.
Yeah.
And they're arguing that the law says that there can be a subsidy for people who buy their insurance through a state exchange, and since they don't have a state exchange, I mean, what the federal government did was set up a national exchange.
Yeah.
But Ted Cruz, again, right in the forefront of things,
One of my favorite Americans,
what
though.
he has done is he has refused to give $100 billion of Texas taxpayers' money back to the Texans for insurance. And Texas is one of only 3 states in the nation that in the last 2 years, their percentage of uninsured citizens has gone up.
Wow.
Okay, you got it.
So he's refused $100 billion of their tax money and made sure that more and more of his citizens have no health insurance.
It's crazy. So how much money is the federal government going to hold back from all those states?
Well, the federal government doesn't want to do it, but the thing is, what happens is that it's a spiral. It will make things crash, because if you can't get a subsidy for your health insurance, many people won't be able to afford the health insurance, so they'll drop out.
Right.
And they won't have to pay the tax penalty, because the tax penalty only applies if you have the opportunity to buy affordable insurance. And with those people out of the pool, everybody else's costs will go up, which means some of them will have to drop, which means the costs will go up, which means more people will drop. And what will happen is we'll go back to the place where 40 or 50% of the American population has no health coverage
no
at all.
insurance.
It's just ridiculous.
Millions. Okay.
And it's all for spite.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
for
it.
nothing.
Yeah, and everybody
okay,
knows it's for
yeah,
spite. That's the
yeah,
thing.
all
That's
right.
not. It's not even like this is buried deep within something. It's completely open and obvious.
There's not even a real philosophical difference. It's just for spite.
It's just spite. It's ridiculous.
Well,
It's
Governor Baker
asinine.
appointed 2 people to big jobs.
When? This week?
When he got into office in the last month.
Okay.
You know, his cabinet people didn't get much publicity. Did
Wait
you
a
notice
minute.
that?
These 2 people both owe big money to the IRS, both of them.
Who are
really?
these
Yeah.
people? What people were they?
I won't get in. I don't
No,
want
but I wanted to. You said he hired 2
Were
people.
they cabinet secretaries?
Yeah,
or what?
one was going to run the MBTA, and the other was going to be a cabinet secretary. And
They can't because of
they
the
had to
IRS?
resign because they owe all this money. They have
Oh
In
my
other words, they
goodness.
didn't pay their
They
They
didn't pay
weren't
their
vetted
taxes.
properly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's too
But
bad.
That is
isn't
too
it
bad.
interesting
That taught Charlie Baker a lesson, though.
Well, it did. You're
Yeah,
right.
he will
You're right.
vet much
Isn't
better
it
in the future.
interesting,
He
however,
trusted.
how little attention his appointments have gotten?
Well, that's another story.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't name one of his cabinet secretaries.
I can't either.
And
Well, that's
every
saying a
time
lot.
we've had a new governor in the past, it was, it was almost like,
Yeah.
Do
they have to reappoint?
Who did the Patriots
Well,
sign? It was
Yeah,
on
but
that
do you
level.
have to reappoint?
now
Can't
that-
just the people that are already in those positions stay in those positions if he chooses? Or do they automatically go out with
Well,
the term?
actually, as a matter of fact, they would normally automatically go out since the office changed party.
Okay, now the
But
people.
in fact, he has kept on a few people.
But the people who are in charge of this guy,
Good.
Fish, the multi-millionaire construction expert, and he does great big business putting up buildings.
Okay.
He's pushing the 2024 Olympics for Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Which we can't sustain.
The Herald is very upset about the fact that they appointed former Governor Patrick to be on the
On the committee?
committee, and some of his closest friends. One of them is that guy who was the senator.
That really doesn't narrow it down, Mike.
Well, it does. There's only 40 senators in Massachusetts.
The one who was the U.S. who filled in as a U.S. senator.
Oh, you mean
I
Bo, whatever his name is?
I
or
can't
something?
remember his last name. It was
The guy that nobody can remember.
Yeah,
the one who
okay.
was
You guys are
appointed-
killing me.
He's
the one who was
on.
appointed to replace Kerry when Kerry began.
Okay.
He's
No,
That
that's
guy.
That's
That
the
guy.
whole thing.
Got
He
it.
appointed two people to
okay.
the Senate that nobody can remember.
Okay.
okay. Now, in case you don't
Anyway,
know,
that is a totally non-governmental board. It's
okay, but do you
totally
know that
private
Colombia
enterprise.
Got it.
has a school system called Escuela Nueva,
Okay.
the new schools.
Okay.
And they've had it for the last 30 plus years, particularly for rural schools.
Okay.
They have a lot of one-room schools down there in
funded
Colombia.
by the cartels.
Okay. What? No, no.
That's not where the story's
No,
going, apparently.
This is an easy one. You'd like this.
Okay. I'm
And
expecting to.
we're doing it up here in some programs in the public schools. They have one-room classroom with I don't know, it's 5, 6, 8, 7 grades, and wait a minute. They sit the kids at one table for each grade.
Okay.
And then this teacher does programs for the kids at each table. And then when they finish, they exchange with each other. The older kids help the younger kids, and the thing works very well. And they have very good high marks on these testing things. Okay.
Es no nuevo escuela. Escuela viejo.
But not.
This sounds exactly like 19th century American schools. This isn't new schools. This is old schools.
But
It's new for them.
I'm not denying this. As a matter of fact, we had open classrooms in the school that I was in, and they mixed some of the grades of the kids in these classrooms, and they had. Because you could move the walls out of a great big huge area, about 5 times bigger than this studio, for one grade, and you could bring in other older kids to help the younger kids. So it is being used, but Colombia.
What was your point about it? What was you shared it for what point?
We were doing this at devotion school 40 years ago.
The
Yeah.
title of this is "Make School a Democracy." That's the title of this.
So where's
thing.
the democracy in your story? Like,
Well,
what's your-
everybody sharing.
getting to contribute to it.
Everybody
but it's
can
not like
contribute.
saying that everyone gets a vote or a choice. It's just saying that. So I don't know how
Well, the
that
parents-
democracy
That
applies.
sounds a little more like socialism
I
than
didn't.
democracy.
Yeah, I'm
to
not.
me.
I'm definitely
Well,
not sure that the title goes with the
parents
story.
love it because the kids come back and tell them about all the things that are going on.
Well, that's good if you're
that
censoring
story
them.
was not in the Herald, was it?
No, that was the New York Times.
That came from the New York Times.
Okay, all right. Now we got a guy named Tommy Chang,
Okay.
who's become he was elected to be the new superintendent of schools in Boston.
Okay.
Yes,
Comes
that was
from
last week, right?
Well, he was here this week.
Yeah, okay.
He was here, and this past
Where
week.
was somewhere in California, right?
He comes from L.A.
Okay.
He was running a lot of school. Actually, he ran a charter school for 7 years.
Okay.
And the point of all this is that he stands for an open approach instead of top down, which is what most school systems do, where the superintendent sends out circulars and tells everybody the way it's going to be in their schools, and the principals get the message and
Well, wearing
carry it
gowns
out.
like
So
it
what's he
today.
going to do?
Here, the principals have a big say in all of this.
Okay.
And then it bubbles up to the superintendent who supports their ideas, their new ideas.
If the other way was
Okay.
top down, this is middle both spread.
Yeah. Boom. Got it.
Middle both
I
ways.
support that.
All right.
Is it
okay.
playtime? It's
Bottom
playtime.
up would be teachers having something to say about what
I think
happens.
through the middle out, which means you get a little bit of the lower and you get a little of the
We
higher.
didn't even say
I
it.
know all about middle spread.
If I said anything, if I said
Nice.
anything to you about the Patriots and free agents, you would go into a long-winded. So we're saving this for after it.
Okay.
After this, we'll save.
Okay. Well then.
I'm hoping they still find a way to bring Vince Wilfork back, though.
I like Will
All
Fry.
right, you see, what was the point? Why don't we just have that story then?
No,
You sure?
we're going to have it afterwards.
Okay.
His story isn't about Vince Wilfork.
Well,
ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the Big TV Unrehearsed Thespian Society's presentation for this week from a rather shallow pile in the vault.
We've been clearing them out, haven't we?
Yeah, but next week you're bringing
I
it,
will.
or the week after.
The week after.
Okay.
The week after.
Yes, there's a rumor
I
that
look
we'll
forward
have
to it.
actual fresh material in the coming
It's going to
weeks.
start coming, fresh
All right.
material.
we'll
Excellent.
see what
Very
happens.
excited about this.
In any case, those of you who have been totally faithful and obsessed
He's
with
going
us
to rewrite some of it.
may remember this one.
I'm gonna
It
take
is
some liberties.
called Detained.
I wonder who
Detained.
would have listened to this in the past. Like, you
Our
just
loyal
referenced
audience.
it.
Yeah, we
I
got
don't know if you heard this one before.
We got a polar bear up there in Alaska.
Yes.
That's,
Detained.
Okay,
I read about this guy who was fired.
that's nothing new.
so he got a new job.
No, and he couldn't pay his rent.
He had to move out.
Right. And he had nowhere to go.
He was going to end up homeless. Is that?
Yeah, but he saw this RV drive by.
Nice for vacations.
So he traded his car and all his savings for an 88 RV,
And he parks it on the street.
right where he is to live,
Only now it's rent-free.
and came fully equipped.
He's got all the appliances.
The utilities are negligible.
And the cops and merchants are perfectly okay with it.
He's a good neighbor.
We moved to Iraq.
Oh, that was just to help the downtrodden Iraqis.
Seemed like the right thing to do after Saddam.
But the natives are restless.
Did you see those pictures of those Iraqi prisoners?
You mean detainees?
Hey, any name, it was ugly stuff.
That's war, guys.
You always say that.
People get killed and maimed, and they disappear.
But do you think we actually did the things in those photos?
No, they were rehearsing for a show.
I don't know about the enlisted or something. Go on. So what were you going to say, Kiera?
So they happened?
At the top here.
I don't know.
Yeah,
No,
so
you
they-
what
turned too
happened?
many pages, my
Yeah,
friend.
Yeah.
I know.
I-
So they happen. Well,
It's
go
your
The
turn.
ahead.
next line is yours, and it's not funny.
Not funny.
Kiera.
Yeah.
Is that where you are?
That's where
Yeah.
you should
Excuse
be.
us for a while we reorient ourselves, folks.
We're keeping it real, people.
All right. So I just heard Michael say, not funny, Kiera.
So they happened?
Maybe.
They're investigating. They need more evidence.
Bad things like this unfortunately take place.
Mel Gibson and his father aren't sure about the Holocaust.
Yeah, I saw that in the papers.
What are you getting at?
Japanese, North Koreans, North Vietnamese, they all tortured POWs.
Yeah, but there weren't many pictures until long afterwards.
Nuremberg War Crimes
And
Tribunal.
Tokyo also. It's nothing new.
Well, sometimes they can be staged.
A British editor was fired for that.
Well,
Look,
Yeah.
we still have never found any weapons of mass destruction.
WMDs.
In Iraq,
Yeah.
yet.
What do you mean yet?
Yeah, and Senator McCain, in the old days, who were presidential candidate.
And his detractors just said he couldn't be trusted.
Because of his tough years in the Nam prison camp.
Bad treatment colors memories.
Yep, we always need more facts.
Insurgents wearing our uniforms attack our own troops.
Roadside ambushes and suicide bombers.
Well, we control the prisons.
But not the country, it seems.
The prisons reflect Iraqi society.
Well, if you don't like it, you just change it.
Sure now with the coalition trying, yeah.
But not under Saddam and his Baathists.
But it's hard for me to believe that the guards would do those things undirected.
Then you think it was the CIA?
Stick to the enlisted guys.
Our reporters weren't making visits.
And the generals clearly didn't do on-site inspections.
Well, we want to stop our casualties, though.
And political assassinations.
Well, President Bush fully supported Secretary Rumsfeld.
And Cheney says he's the greatest.
Kerry's appalled.
And Greenspan was guardedly optimistic.
Stocks go up.
And then they go down.
Well, I'll tell you, private security is a really big business in Iraq.
Soaring gas prices now climb higher.
I guess Martha Stewart should have her own TV show in Iraq.
Michael Moore won at Cannes.
Is that important?
It is if you sell guns. I love that line.
Which,
You
of
can't
course,
take that line.
brings me back to RVs,
Why?
Give it up.
because I like RVs.
Would you live in one?
If I don't get another tax cut.
Well, what about inflation?
What about weather?
It's been very cool lately.
Not in my RV.
Blackout.
Okay.
There we go, folks.
All right.
We did it.
We return to the thrilling days of yesteryear.
Okay.
Okay, what was this talk about the Super Bowl? Or
No,
the
no,
Patriots?
no,
It was the Patriots.
No, we finally
talked about-
remembered to mention the Super Bowl in the last program.
Okay.
Nobody mentions that guy who was the heart of the Patriots Defense.
Vince?
Vince.
They just let him go, and I hope that means that somehow they'll find a way to re-sign him.
Yeah.
He was due a lot of money.
And
And then we had
redesign his
Devin
contract.
McCourty, who they just managed to sign,
yeah.
and they used their whatever it's called, their one player they can force to play for them. They used on their kicker, interestingly enough. And so now the big outstanding question is Darrelle Revis. And Darrelle Revis will be a bit of a problem. He's a very good defensive back. He plays corner. I know you don't know what that is.
And $25 million
Nor do
a year.
I care.
And he's due to earn $25 million next year,
That's a lot of money.
which is, I cannot imagine the Patriots, particularly the Patriots, even though I can't imagine anybody paying him $25 million.
And giving him 3 or 4 years also.
On the other hand, I learned today that Judge Judy makes $47 million a year.
47
Still?
million?
Is she still
Yeah,
on
Judy?
TV? Is she
She
still?
is.
Okay.
Yeah, she's pretty
And
good.
she makes
Not bad.
$47
She's
million
feisty.
a year.
Yeah,
And I
she
think
is feisty.
I
She
think
is
the American
feisty.
Bar Association must send her a telegram once a month saying, please stop saying you're a lawyer.
A judge.
She's the
She's a
biggest embarrassment
judge.
to the American legal system that ever came down the pipe.
So you say.
You know,
So I say.
I think she's
I
terrific.
think there's so many.
She likes
There's
her.
so many facets of that.
Wait a second. How would you like her if you were in her court?
I would.
You wouldn't be in her court. Only stupid people go to her court.
Well, that's true.
Okay,
That's
then there's your
true.
answer.
But
It's
in
just
the-
sensationalism.
But in
I'm
theory,
kinda
she
dumb
was
sometimes.
in an actual court at one point,
I'm sure.
where real citizens had
But
to
maybe
go.
not for long. And what state did she come out of? Because that would explain some
I
things.
don't know. I don't know. I have no idea.
Are you looking for more news to
All
share
I-
with the
all I
world?
Some
know is
other
that if an
things, yeah.
actual justice behaved like she did, they'd be
Oh
disbarred
yeah.
in the first minute.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I'm sure she's only gotten worse over time as she gets, more freedom and more power and money.
And she needs 3 people to carry her
Yeah.
head into the studio.
I
for
can't
her.
tell you that I wouldn't, in that kind of situation, if day in, day out, you're constantly determining what's going to happen,
Well, unfortunately,
why you wouldn't start to feel that.
Unfortunately, in this era of reality TV, it is becoming clearer and clearer that all the superstars are obnoxious.
Yes.
That's what
unfortunate.
sells.
Yeah.
Is obnoxious people with no conscience, no ethics,
Yeah.
no anything.
Yep.
And so I guess if you want to make, I didn't realize you could make that kind of money.
Yes.
Just winging it
Yeah.
like that,
It's unbelievable. With YouTube and the internet, you just
Social
put something out
media.
there like
Yeah.
that, and if
Here's the
people
thing.
are interested,
She
that's all it
does not.
takes.
She does not work one iota harder than we do, and she gets paid $47
It's
million
the American
a year.
it's capitalism. Why the hell can she earn all that
Of course
money?
she can.
Sure.
We don't judge her
It's
money.
a woman. If it was a guy getting that much money, you wouldn't say anything.
You want to bet?
If you were like she was in that
there's a
form,
man
I would
named
say
there's a
something.
man named Robert Ben Moshe.
You tell me how much Bill O'Reilly makes, and I'll have the same screen.
Wait a minute. This is a guy who was the former MetLife chairman who left and retired. Then he came
Yeah.
back. And why did he come back?
Did anybody call him Snoopy?
Because no, AIG, which was the biggest reinsurance company in the world.
Right, which almost brought down the American
Yeah, and
economy.
they
Yes.
owed.
Yep.
They were $182 billion in debt. This
And
guy.
what did that have to
he
do
came
with
back out
MetLife?
of retirement and took it over.
Oh, yeah?
And he ended up putting them back on their feet. They're one of the most profitable insurance companies in the world. Wait a minute. And he paid the American Treasury back the $182 billion plus interest.
So did
Wow.
General Motors.
I'm talking about
Did
this
anyone not
guy,
pay back?
Yeah.
and
Who didn't pay back?
anyways, this was his obit,
Oh, he died?
That's the reason I'm
All
telling
that build
you
up
about
and
it.
just to
I
tell us he
liked him.
died?
And he was a great contributor to all kinds of good things for a lot of
Is
good
that,
people.
is that him there?
That's him.
So when would it
6'3", about 220 pounds.
When would it have been that he took over AIG?
Well, it's all in that article there, but I'm not going to go back over it for you.
I mean, how long ago was that?
It was when we were in a
5 years?
A week ago.
Yeah, maybe
5 years.
2010,
Yeah.
probably something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, 2008.
And people are still yelling about testing in the public schools. They still don't like the Common Core test. There's a big battle about it.
Well, don't people just complain about everything?
They don't like tests, period.
Well, but it's a chance. Parents want to know how their kids are doing in school. They really want to know.
I want to know, as a taxpayer supporting the schools, I want to know how they're doing in school.
All I can tell you is testing, if they can get the results fast enough, really are good. It's worth having, particularly since if you have a teacher teaching classes, different kinds of kids that come to her year after year, or him, if he's running a class, and that class tests poorly year after year, that says something to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And,
Get a new teacher.
Yeah, I mean,
yes,
but
the
every
union,
system is
the
broken
teachers
in some
union
way.
makes it very difficult.
They don't want that.
They don't want that. Okay, so it's worth talking about that.
One of the problems with
And wait a-
unions in general,
Here's
and
something
teachers
that
unions in
he
particular,
would like in
they
particular.
exist to defend the worst.
Retire.
Yes.
Why are retire circus elephants?
Ringling Brothers has
wait
given
a-
them up entirely now.
Wait a minute.
they
The-
should.
the-
It's just not attractive
The Republicans
at
are
all.
against it.
Well, that sounds. Maybe they'll replace them
That's
with
pretty funny.
donkeys.
Yeah, but they what
Oh,
is
my
this?
goodness.
What's their symbol?
Oh,
An elephant.
elephant.
Of course,
Yeah.
yes.
So they don't.
And what's a donkey?
Well, that's
the
our
Demo- the
symbol. Yeah,
Democrats,
dumb
yes.
donkey. Okay. Well, okay.
But no, it's interesting. Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey, after all these years, has given up elephants. And that elephant parade, when they came to town, was like 30% of all their advertising. You know, that was
Yeah.
that big thing, the elephants trunk to tail
Yeah.
marching down. No
Okay.
more elephants for
well,
them.
New York City now,
okay.
New York schools are now having, the holidays are Eid al-Fitr, which marks the end of the holy month of Ramadan, and Eid al-Adha, a commemoration of the willingness of Abraham to sacrifice his son at God's command.
Okay.
So they're having these two religious holidays for Muslims in the New York City schools. The kids can stay out, and they can maybe close the schools. I don't know what
They
the answer
probably
is.
do.
Well, they probably
okay.
they probably don't. They probably just give excused
But what will
absences,
ISIS?
I've never
which
seen
is-
that in the school
Which is
system.
what they normally do with Jewish holidays.
But yeah.
No, the kids get all in Newton. They all go.
Well, that's Newton.
Well, all right, fine. You're right. I'm in a bubble. I'm in a bubble.
In
I'm
Boston,
sorry.
they always said they gave the teachers who were Jewish, they could stay out
Without
for a day or
penalty.
two.
Without
Yeah, they
punishment.
wouldn't lose it.
Otherwise known as Tel Aviv.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I
didn't,
think.
you know, I did not think before I
What will
spoke.
ISIS say about this when they read about
Well,
what
they're
New York?
well, maybe they'll let Boko Haram speak for them. You
We
know?
have 1 minute, gentlemen. That's
We
it.
really?
Yep,
1 minute?
That's
1
it.
minute.
We have 1 minute.
You
Okay.
mean we've zipped through
You-
another show?
I just never know
another
where the
classic?
time goes.
Good
Wait.
night, Irene. Good night, Irene.
He rushes it.
Irene,
good night.
Irene, good night.
We'll see you in our dreams. Good night, Irene. Good night, everybody. From the fun show here at Big TV. We've actually appeared now 3 weeks in a row,
Nice.
which is an
Making up
indication
for-
this spring must be on the horizon.
Woo!
We have every expectation of being back same time, same station next week.
Happy Purim
Happy Purim.
and happy.
Stay sober
Well,
on St.
wait a minute,
Patty's Day.
Sunday. It says about 2 days to stay sober.